Hi everyone, this is Chavi, and today we have Kazeem with us. He is an amazing entrepreneur and an MVP at the same time. He is the founder of Icon System and he is the Microsoft Azure MVP. I welcome you, sir, in the today's Tech Podcast series.
Thank you very much. It's so good to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. Would love to know about your MVP journey, how you got started with it, and what actually struck in your mind when you think of, yeah, I want to be an MVP. So, what is that one thing that struck?
Okay, first of all, like you mentioned, my name is Kazeem Adegboyega. I'm from Lagos, Nigeria, for those who don't know. You mentioned, yes, I'm a Microsoft Azure MVP and also a Microsoft certified trainer. And I work at the Icon Systems, and I also help out Olulocks as well. So I have an engagement with the Olulocks to help them manage the Nigerian team. So when we come to the MVP, the MVP award, as a lot of people I believe already know, it's an award, it's not a certification. So Microsoft would choose to reward some people that are a little active with community related work, trying to help out community members, trying to help people grow in their career. And you need to have a little bit of technical competency too. We know that Microsoft roll out a number of products, right? So there are a number of product lines from Microsoft. So it's best to focus on a particular product, and so when there is engagement from you around that particular product, then you can get nominated. So you get nominated either by a Microsoft employee or another fellow MVP, someone who is an MVP. In my own case, I got the nomination twice. The first one was declined. So Microsoft got back to me that I need to do a little bit more and perhaps focus on one of the technologies now. At the time, I was doing cloud related, Azure to be specific, and I also have some little bit of knowledge around Microsoft 365. So they got back to me to ask me to just choose one of the two technologies and do a little bit more in terms of content rollout. So which I did, and funny enough, before the MVP badge came, a lot of people would think that I'm already a Microsoft most valuable professional, which I wasn't. So the second one came from a Microsoft employee, and yeah, so it's more like an icing on the cake for me. Uh,
I can totally feel that. Like people start assuming that, yeah, okay, you might be an employee of Microsoft, right? So I can feel that that happens. So, it's actually an interesting journey, I would say. So, you are an MCD as well. So, how it feels to like train people from different domains about Microsoft Azure, and how is your experience in it in training students and the professionals at the same time about Azure?
okay, for training is something that I've been doing for a very long time. My MCT badge, that's my Microsoft Certified Trainer badge, I got that in 2009. Yes, but even before then, I've been training, So, but in 2009, I was engaged. So I have an engagement with a Microsoft partner company, and they have a lot of training, a lot of Microsoft training lined up for me. And a part of the requirement was that I become a Microsoft, that they have a Microsoft certified trainer deliver those courses. So I then became, I tried to make my application, that's my work on my MCT application, and became a Microsoft certified trainer. But most of the training, personally for me, that I've been taking would be around corporate. I deliver corporate trainings. With training, especially here in where I'm from Nigeria. When we talk training, there is the retail training and there is the corporate training. The retail training is where uh, you have a training firm and people walk into the training firm asking to be enrolled for some kind of courses. The other corporate setting, the corporate type of training is where those training companies get to submit proposals to companies like the banks. They'll submit their training calendar for the year, asking them to choose them or to send their staff for trainings. So that would be corporate training. And my experience with corporate training is that to be a corporate trainer, a good corporate trainer, you need to have a 50 to 50 mix of on the job experience, and you need to also have training qualities as well. So when you have those two skills, then you do well as a trainer, because when you stand in corporate classes, people in those corporate people attending your classes want solution to problems that they are facing at work. So they are coming to your classroom with problems that they want you to help them provide solutions to. So they don't want you necessarily to read slides to them. So rather, they want to, yes, have a more, of the concept, yes, conceptual, but you need to be able to marry those concepts now to applicability. You need to be able to apply it. So walk them through scenarios where they can apply those concepts, and then you actually show them the real stuffs. Show them how to do it. Get your hands dirty and let them also get their hands dirty as well. So training is what I've been doing for a very long time again. And yes, I feel that to be a very good corporate trainer, you need to have that balance of on the job experience and also know how to teach. Yeah.
That's so true that you actually shared. Like, training plays a major role. Like, if people like you wouldn't be there as trainers, then how people would be starting their journey? Because ultimately, uh, when, like, for example, you started with Azure, you got into it, then you know what are the weak points, like where you might have lagged. So that's how you actually share your journey with your students as well. Okay, I know these are the pain points, and now that's how I can help you in this. So training is a major thing for, I totally agree to. Like when as you shared about the training, I wanted to know that when a student gets started with the Microsoft Azure, which is that first certification the students goes for or the professional goes for? Is there anything, or is it totally depends from domain to domain?
Okay. Paths to follow. It would depend if they want to um, build a cloud career, a career in cloud computing. Cloud computing is very broad. Now we're talking Microsoft, right? We're talking the Microsoft Cloud. So the Microsoft Cloud is also getting bigger by the day. So the students will need to choose a career path to follow. So even if the person has decided that he or she wants to major in cloud computing, that's in Microsoft Cloud. So is the person looking at the security area, the security aspect of Microsoft Cloud? Is the person looking at the data analysis aspect of things, where we have the likes of the power tools, the power platform tools. So in a way, it's cloud managed, right? So that is under the umbrella of what we call the Microsoft 365. So Azure proper itself, so is the person looking to become an Azure architect, or does the person want to focus on security? So the person will need to be able to tell which of this career path they want to follow. So once they're able to identify the career path to follow, then they can build it from there. So if the goal is to become an administrator, the person has a little more interest in networking, then they can look at starting with AZ 900 if the person is totally new to the concept of cloud computing. So AZ 900 will give the students some background of how cloud computing works. They'll be able to see some little bit of practicals to the Azure cloud, and then the person can proceed next with the AZ 104. That's the Azure administrator, and then work their way up. So there's also a security one, that the person can branch out to. So there's the business intelligence. So it's just very broad. So, but if the person is a student, then it's good. I would advise that they reach out to community members to guide them through these things. So if they are not very sure, which of the courses to go for, so they can reach out to people and do some little bit of research, perhaps on LinkedIn. When one is choosing a career, you want to choose a career that will pay off, that will pay off later on for yourself. So you don't want to choose a career that is going extinct. You want to choose something that will continue to grow. So even if you choose to remain in the field in another 5 years, maybe 10 years, you can still continue to be relevant. Security, for example, is in demand. So there is big demand for people in security. So you want to look at what the trend is like, and you can get some of those information online on the internet, on LinkedIn, and among community members as well.
That's true. I totally admire your points because, like getting started with AZ 900 is important, and also community plays a major role when it comes to learning. Because again, like for example, I'm a beginner. I want to get started with it. If I have a community, then it would be very easy for me to understand about my domain, because as a beginner, people don't understand that actually for which domain they should understand cloud. So that's also a big challenge for them. So in that case, for you, how you actually contributed to the community, or how community benefited you when it comes to Azure?
Community, I do a lot of community work myself, and through the community, I've also been able to meet a number of very awesome individuals. Yes, and now that I'm also a Microsoft MVP, so that's one of the benefits, is that I get to network a little bit more, so I have better access to other MVPs all across the world. So we exchange ideas. I have my own show too as well that I run. It's called the Tech Talk with Kazeem. So where I bring other professionals on the show to talk about cloud related topics now. So I get to host many MVPs on the show with me. So I learn from them as well. So just like you're asking me a question on your show now. So when I bring them to my shows, so I get to ask them about yes, cloud related topics, and that they provide answers to the questions that I ask them, and I post it online, and people consume the content, right? And that's not all. So I also have another show that I anchor with another friend of mine. So that's not cloud. We just talk tech generally, and the idea behind coming up with that show was to showcase African talent. So we try to look around. Oh, are there people doing leveraging technology to do amazing things? So we bring them on the show to showcase them to the world, right? And I also run events, right, with my colleagues here in Nigeria. So we do have a number of communities now. The community in Nigeria, the tech community in Nigeria now has really grown. So once in a while, we come together to run events, and people benefit from these events that we run. Before now, especially before COVID, it was difficult for people to acquire skills very easily, to acquire some of these skills that we have readily available everywhere now. You need to pay a whole lot of money. Either you travel abroad to attend conferences, so you need to bear travel costs, so it doesn't come very cheap. So but during COVID or after COVID now, those we can say are some of the takeaways, the good takeaways now of the pandemic, right? So people are able to participate in events anywhere in the world. So you can have somebody in the United States running an event, and somebody from India, from Africa, Nigeria can participate. They can be speakers, right? So I would say those are ways that we can benefit from the communities in general, and we can also contribute our own little quota. So we shouldn't just be learning from the communities alone. So when we feel that we have been able to acquire some skills to where we can teach it to others, so we should also try to do something along those lines. Either we form our own small little community, or choose to become a part of a community and offer our time to help out the community grow. So it's everybody's work, I would say. People who are already on the job will need to give to the community, give back to the community, help others grow. And people coming up to, once they attain a certain level of confidence in whatever skills that they've acquired, they can also try to give back to the community as well.
I felt too good to hear this. It's actually incredible for me to hear this, because like the thing that you are doing for the community is marvelous, and like for especially for the Nigeria community is marvelous. Like hosting these events and doing these shows, it impacts a lot on the people. Its impact is truly positive, and it feels so good for the beginners as well. Like yeah, like we actually if they are poor, if they don't have money, if they have any sort of issue, they still can get started with the technology for free. And yeah, people are there to mentor them, to help them, to just provide any sort of help. So it actually feels too good to hear like to hear about the community of Nigeria, that the contribution that you are doing, that's truly amazing for me to hear that. So
Thank you very much.
yeah, there's just last one thing that I wanted to know from you is when you actually got started with Azure, how was your experience? Like, I wanted to end this with your journey of starting Azure. Like, how was it? How it felt?
I started when a customer, I got a request from one of the customers that I support, that I give training support to. So they have customers, some corporate customers that wanted a cloud training. So a particular cloud training. At the time, it was Microsoft 3. It was Office 365. So Office 365 at the time was still a little new in Nigeria. So what I did was, they wanted me to take the training. So I asked if I can have some time to be prepared for this training. So he said, no problem, we can give you a month to prepare. And what I did was to look up a course somewhere. So I actually came to India, right? So, so, I came to, look up a company in India that was able to offer that particular course, and I spent 3 weeks or thereabouts in India. So I studied the part of the Office 360. There were two courses then. I can't remember what those courses were, but two courses then that I did in Office 365 with the Indian company. And then I came back to Nigeria, and a couple of weeks later, I think 2 weeks later, so I was really prepared and I delivered the course. So that was how I got into cloud computing. So I actually started it with Office 365, and afterwards the customer would also have requests for cloud related courses for me to teach, and in between too I will get engaged, I will get some project work to do with some clients that's from my own company. Now they will call, oh, we need to migrate this line of business application that we have. Can you please help us migrate? We have SharePoint on-prem. Is there a way we could migrate it to the Azure cloud or to Office 365? So sometimes I will get busy with those kind of projects as well. So I might be off for 2 months, maybe sometimes 4 months, trying to do those kind of work. Sometimes it might be automation. The customer will call, oh, we need to automate this manual processes that we have. So that might take me away also from training to go get my hands dirty. Some of those things that the concept that I'm learning, let me also just go put them to test, put them to work myself. So that's how I started with the cloud, and eventually I found a love for the Microsoft Azure. So I continue to build my skills around Azure, and until I also got the MVP award, and it's under the Azure category. So that's how my journey in the cloud started, and yeah.
It felt too good. I like this journey is totally incredible. I didn't thought of this of coming, so it's actually incredible at the same time, just like the community thing. Like you are an amazing person, I would say. The way you started, like you actually learn everything to teach people. This is called the community contribution. Like from the very first day you started the community contribution without even knowing that you are doing it. So it's actually marvelous at the same time for me. So it was actually great recording with you, Kazeem, and like looking forward to have you in some other events of ours super soon. And thank you so much, everyone, for tuning with us. We would be sure be coming with some other tech podcast. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much for having me on.